Hello and welcome to We Welcome Your Teams, a podcast about the most unique job in sport, football stadium announcers.
People ask me three questions. Oh, you're the match announcer? Yeah. How did you get the job? You got any tickets? Do you know all the players?
I got a message on Twitter. Who signed this off at the club?
And they used to have a half-time competition where from the halfway line, if you could kick the ball through the front door, you actually won a new UPVC front door.
What I like the most about Kenny Boxall is the fact that when the opposition score, he mumbles.
Basically, we had a button that if basically somebody got sent off, we press it and it goes, I'm the bad guy.
All Burton Albion substitutions and away substitutions, I hasten to add, are sponsored by Doggy Daycare Burton.
We go there and then I give it Old Trafford. Our first penalty taker is Micah Richards. Yeah, it's horrendous.
For 20 years I've been out in the wilderness not knowing how to do this job, and now I've got you two there.
He says, if you're the match announcer, say enjoy the game. So I said it, and he went, it is him.
Yes, hello and welcome back. It's the podcast about people who are the voice you hear on stadium PA systems at football grounds up and down the country. My name is Rich Hurst. I'm the announcer at West Bromwich Albion, and I'm chatting to my counterparts up and down the leagues about why we love the job we get to do every single match day. It's a privileged position. It's full of insight about what goes on behind the scenes, and the more we delve, the more we meet people who live for that buzz when we introduce the teams just before kickoff. But there have been some crazy experiences along the way that only come with being involved in the national institution that is a British football match day. So let's get on with this special episode for the end of the season and meet our guests. A warm welcome to this special episode of We Welcome Your Teams, a podcast about football stadium announcers. It has been a crazy month of end of season madness, big finals left, right and centre. In amongst it all, I managed to get myself married, and you'll be glad to know I got someone else to announce us into the room, because that would have just been weird if I'd claimed that job. Honourable mentions this month go to Chris Temple, who's the Wembley announcer. He's obviously done all the Champions League final as well as all the playoffs and FA Cup final. And Rich Williams, yet to be a guest on the pod, but was on the mic at St James's Park a couple of nights ago for the England friendly and read a very fitting tribute to rugby league legend Rob Burrows. You can hear a pin drop in St James's Park. He did a really good job, so big shout out to you, Rich. Let's get on with this episode. Fresh from another FA Cup final, but a better day out than 12 months ago, here is our regular co-host, Mr. Alan Keegan. How are you, Alan?
Still on a high. I mean, honestly, no one saw that coming, did they? I mean, no one could have predicted that Manchester United were going to beat Manchester City. Yeah, it was a cup final. Myself and Alex did a little bit of media in the morning. We did Sky Sports, we did Talk Sport, and the predictions were flying left, right and centre. Alex, predicted a 2-1 win for City. I predicted, and it's all there, the evidence is for everybody to listen to and look at. I said, listen, City are going to have a bad day. We're going to have to be on a high. But I'll tell you what I'll take. I'll take a mistake from City and a Garnacho goal. What about that?
So cool.
It was just heaven. It was just heaven. So, I'm really, no apologies. I'm still on a high for it because didn't see it coming. Went down to Wembley on the Friday. Was staying there with my family. 15 minutes into the journey, bang, flat tyre. And of course, as most of you will know, on these new cars, they don't come with a spare anymore. They come with this foam stuff that you've got to put in, and it gets you to the nearest garage. So 2 hours later, my wife has to get a taxi back and an Uber to the house, return to where I parked it up, left it for the weekend, and as I say, the rest is history. So Manchester United, FA Cup winners 2024. I thank you.
Well said. Well said. I thought we'd get it out of the way early because he's bound to. You can't come back after a little hiatus and not mention any of that. Let's get on to our guest then for this episode. One who's been on the show already, one who's a brand new guest. Both brought together by the fate of the Championship playoff as their two respective teams went head to head in the richest game of football, which meant they were on the mic, that coveted slot that the respective teams' announcers get to do. Alan, would you introduce our guests, please?
Yes, Rich, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our two special stadium announcers today. First and foremost, it's Leigh Nicholson from Leeds United and Steve Forbes from Southampton. Welcome.
Hello, both.
Hi, gents.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. I mean, it's obviously a little bit harder to see you, Steve, because technically, if the semi-finals had gone another way, it would have been me instead of you. But hey, there is no way you didn't deserve to be there. I've got to say that over the two legs.
I played no part in it myself, so I just take what comes.
Yeah, exactly. That's how we have to remember this, don't we? Yeah, I know. So first things first, congratulations, Steve. Commiserations, Leigh. How have you both been recovering since? Leigh, how about you?
To be honest, it's been a little bit easier, I think, to get over than the Derby County playoff defeat. I think because of the position that we were in that game. But it's one of those, we've got to be quite philosophical about it all. And at the end of the day, the better team turned up and we didn't. And it's easier to kind of accept that and sort of move on rather than dwell on it and just be bitter. I was for a couple of days, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I think I'm just about there now.
Steve, how about you? I mean, congratulations back in the Premier League. How was the day out for you?
Yeah, fantastic day out. I think it took a few days for the voice to recover and get back to normal. I had to take a day or two off of the day job. But yeah, what a fantastic day out. I actually had to drive from Glasgow to Southampton on the Saturday. Didn't get back until about 11 at night. And then I was up again at 5:30 the next day on the Sunday to head to Wembley and get there for 8 in the morning. So it was a long day. It was a tiring day, but you know, I think just winning that game and getting back into the Premier League at the first time of asking, considering the season could have gone a totally different way, and it's more relief than anything else, I think, to be back.
Did you guys actually get to meet prior or before or anything for the run-through, or was there a rehearsal? How did that work? Because Alex and I did, even though we've been there many times, we still did a rehearsal together. How did that work for the both of you?
Well, I was working outside in the fan zone Saints prior to the game, so we had an area with a stage, etc., and big screen. So I was running like little kind of competitions and giveaways and introducing the live acts that they had there prior. And then when I came into Wembley, I think probably about 11 a.m. or something like that, I met Leigh pitch side for our little run throughs and had a little chat. It was very amicable. You know, there was no hostility there at all. Very nice gentleman to chat to. And I think we were both just kind of nervous more than anything. I mean, Leigh can obviously speak for himself, but it felt like it was very much a case of may the best team win, and shook hands, and it was yeah, as I said, very amicable.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. And I was doing the same in the fan zone, in the Leeds fan zone for a little while before making my way inside into the underbelly of Wembley, which it's unbelievable just wandering around, and it's like a city in itself. It was crazy. And then yeah, we got to go pitch side, and that's when we sort of shook hands. And I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I think we were both nervous, but I think the reality of what it was that we were both about to do sort of dawned on us about the same time, and we just kind of looked around a little bit, and it was like, okay, so we're going to actually do this. But you know what, the Event 360 staff were just brilliant. That they looked after us so well and made sure that we were fully equipped and armed with all the knowledge that we needed before obviously the big moment came, and the run-throughs went great. And yeah, a little bit bizarre doing it to an empty stadium, but then if you were doing it during COVID, that's something that you've got prior with. But yeah, it was a precursor to what was going to be an absolutely fantastic and memorable experience, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Good. So, Steve, just because you're new to the pod, just tell us a little bit about how long you've been at Saints and what your role is.
So I've been at Saints since November 2017. My role has kind of changed a little bit over the years that I've been there. So initially I started out as a pitch side presenter, doing kind of links before the game in the crowd, giveaways, bits on the big screen, etc., rather than actually kind of announcing and being the voice of God within St Mary's. As kind of time went on and certain people departed their roles, I kind of had a hybrid role for a couple of months where I would do the PA announcing and the pitch side as well. And then when COVID hit, it was very much, well, what do we do? Because you're not announcing to anyone now. So Southampton created their Saints Live show, which was a pre- and post-match online show across their social media channels and on the website, a bit of a build-up to the game and then a post-match analysis with some guests, some ex-players and journalists. And I co-hosted that for 3 seasons until that ill-fated campaign that ended last season or the season before, and when we got relegated, and then the show went out the door. So for the championship campaign, it was a culmination of working in the fan zone outside the ground and doing some bits pre-game there with the younger Saints fans, and then also back to pitch side presenting, some pitch side team sheet reads, that sort of thing.
Cool. And what are match days like? Previous season just gone. Then what was match day like for you at Saints and all the stuff you did sort of in that, I suppose, that crucial 1 hour to kick off sort of time?
It can be a bit crazy. It can be a bit full on. I think it totally depends on the schedule that the fantastic team that work at Saints and put the match day experiences on put together. So it could be an hour. I'd say probably about an hour and a half before kickoff. We'll be in the fan zone. We'll be doing about a 45-minute show, for lack of a better term, in there with some games and giveaways and introducing any live acts we have. And then there might be a pitch side interview. There might be some giveaways in the bowl, any VTs that need linked to, we'll then have to go in and do that. But then also we've got halftime too, so there'll be whatever activations. Everyone loves the halftime relay at St Mary's, which if none of you have been there, it is fantastic. Just get the young Saints fans or the kids that are there get bibbed up, and then they just basically run around the pitch, passing the ball to each other at every marker, and then it's the first team to score. The fans love it. And when we have companies that try and sponsor activations, whether it be a crossbar challenge or get the ball in a bin or something like that, it never goes down as well. So there's a bit of that to contend with too.
Nice. And the 5 minutes before kickoff, that kind of crucial time we all talk about on this podcast about how it runs from teams being in the tunnel, generating the atmosphere, getting to that point where they come out. I'm guessing obviously if you're who is the person who makes that announcement as they walk out?
So that's a guy called Tim Mans. So he's now our voice of God, has been for I think two and a bit seasons now. There's a gentleman called Justin before who passed away sadly.
Used to work with him on the radio.
Yeah, very nice man. And then when Justin did pass, before Tim, another guy called John actually was with us for a while, who does the women's fixtures. And then before Tim, I kind of was in that hybrid role for a short period of time. But at the moment at St Mary's, when you're hearing, here come the Saints, that's Tim doing that.
Nice. I went to the West Brom away game last season. I suppose it is now. Do remember it feeling like a pretty decent atmosphere just before they walked out, and then I can't remember what the walkout music was. Is it still the Saints go marching in?
The Saints are coming.
Saints are coming. That's
yeah.
it. Yeah. I only know. I don't know how. I can't remember how old that is, but I used to weirdly work at St Mary's when I was a student in Southampton. But this is back in 02, 03. So the James Beattie, the Chris Marsden days, all of that. But I never paid enough attention to what was going out on the pitch.
Why would you at that point in time?
Well, I suppose, I've got to concentrate on restocking the bar ready for half time, I suppose. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's an incredible experience. And you'll be back Premier League next season. Sorry, Leeds, I've got to come straight to you now, Leigh. And
thank you.
Just remind everyone who's new how long you've been announcer at Leeds now.
Much the same as Steve. I started in 2017. That was my first season down there. That was straight into pitch side, in stadium presenter role, taken over actually from Rich Williams, who did it before me. And then Rich was hosting our fan zone at Wembley as well. So, what better person to show you the ropes than somebody that has done it at such a scale. 2017 was my first season down there, and still going strong.
And hey, I saw some videos from the semi-final second leg from Ellen Road, Bloomin' Heck. You hit the right buttons there, didn't you?
Yeah, well, for that particular game, I changed the playlist entirely. So it was a big call, but
yeah,
I think the occasion just kind of warranted it, really. So it was more of a shout back to sort of previous playlists that played songs that just got the stadium rocking, and then other tracks that are just built for stadiums, really. So things that really just set the louder they are, the better they sound. It was that kind of feel. And there was a lot of input from the fans as well. So I was kind of leaking little bits out, what I was going to be playing, and the fans were getting involved, and some suggestions came, and I thought, okay, that would work, and we can chop this bit up there, and it just worked. And then, generally we can read our fans. We've been doing it for long enough, and you kind of get a feeling for what the atmosphere is going to be like. And sometimes it can feel a bit flat, and you're a bit concerned, and there's nothing really that you can do that can sort of bring them up. But that particular game, everybody was so up for it. 15 minutes, 20 minutes before kickoff, all sides of the stadium were in full voice. And then obviously the music sort of accompanied with that. The first time that I played Underworld, Born Slippy, inside Ellen Road, and it nearly took the roof off the place. It was just, and I think people sort of buzzed off that a little bit, and it certainly helped to create that atmosphere that Ellen Road's pretty much synonymous with now. It was quite a special place to be, and I think probably my favourite pre-match build-up that I've done so far. I think so.
And then obviously you've got all things ready post-match should things go your way, which obviously they did. And then that was all the stuff that hit social media, as I predict a riot.
Yeah, and it's funny because 2 days after the final at Wembley, for my radio show, my breakfast show, I was interviewing Simon from the Kaiser Chiefs. So we were kind of messaging each other and saying this interview on Tuesday is going to go one way or the other. It's either going to be fantastic or we're both going to be just like, just don't mention Wembley. But we talked about I Predict a Riot. And I played that track for the first time, I think it was after we beat Burnley. It was a Premier League game, first season up, I think. And the response from the crowd was just phenomenal. So from then it was like, right, okay, let's keep this one in the locker. And as Simon said, he likes the fact that we don't necessarily play it after every victory, but if it's a big one, if it's something that's, where the crowd has just been absolutely phenomenal all game, then it gets a run out. Because now we've actually been given the green light to play it whenever we want, because before that, the police were politely advising us, as I think you might remember me telling you on the last time that I was on, that we had to choose our moments to play it, because, for instance, Millwall at Ellen Road, and you play I Predict a Riot at full time, it's, you got to pick your moments. But as soon as the full-time whistle went and we hit that, the roof just came off the place. It's a special place to be when it's in full voice.
Definitely. I mean, and I watched it on telly, Steve. The second leg at St Mary's wasn't a bad effort too.
Well, unfortunately, I wasn't there for that game.
Of course not. No, you were still.
Because I was in Scotland, so I was driving up to Scotland on that Friday that it took place. I got engaged when I was up there, so that was the point of the trip.
Yeah,
thank you so much. And I'm gutted, to say the least, because when I saw the footage, it looked incredible. All the kind of the red mist from the flares going off, the bus welcome, like the pitch invasion at the end. It looked, well, in fact, from the people that I've spoke to who were there on the day, said it was the best atmosphere they have ever experienced at St Mary's. It was insane. So, from a personal point of view, I had things to attend to, which meant I couldn't be there, but I'm pretty gutted that I couldn't be there. Yeah.
We got the kind of, you always get that from the media guys on about 85 minutes. Can you start doing the announcements to fans about staying off the pitch and what have you? I mean, come on, you know.
There's no stopping it, was there?
And they told me to do that announcement, and I was literally mid-announcement. Liam Cooper had just been brought on as a sub, and we're still unsure whether or not we're going to see Liam in a Leeds shirt again. And we got a corner, and he went up for the corner, and mid-sentence, the fans just start singing, "If Cooper scores, we're on the pitch." And I was like, I just had to kind of, it was the very first time ever, I almost laughed down the microphone and just went, "So, yeah, okay." Just all left it.
God, timing. Just about that. Well, look, go on now.
We had a similar thing, not as big a game as what you guys were doing, but we had a similar thing when we went to the away game at Everton, where we started singing a similar song, with if Bruno scores, we're on the pitch. And like within 2 minutes, every security steward or whatever was at the United end. And I don't know if you've been into Goodison, but they took you in the corner, like the sort of the side of the pitch in one of the main stands, like behind the net. And it was a real funny sight, all the stewards appearing. But it is funny when the fans start singing that, it's a brilliant day out.
Did you not get an announcement from Graham White saying no fans allowed on the pitch? I thought Whitey would have been straight on that.
Yeah. Well, as I say, it wasn't as big as their game, so I think it was more. We were winning 3-1, and it was just a bit of a wind up that we were going on it.
Right, we're going to get back to the chat shortly, but it's a good time to let you know about this tune you're hearing right now. It's another one brought to us at We Can Welcome Your Teams by the guys at ShootMusic. If you go to sportplaylist.com, you'll find the most popular tunes from all over the world of sports. Plus, there are regular interviews with matchday DJs at sports stadiums right around the country and all around the world to see which tunes are doing it for them and making it a great atmosphere. And the stadium chart is always there as well, with the biggest tunes as played in those stadiums every Friday. Now, this tune is one they sent us over the last month. We really like it here. It may sound a little bit Euro-poppy, but I tell you what, it's multi-talented singer-producer DJ Martin Trevi, and this is his latest single, I Found a Way. And it was sent to us for nothing, just because us, like a lot of other matchday DJs involved at Club we feature, are signed up for their service. Right, let's get back to the episode with Steve, Leigh and Alan. Look, the only reason I'm talking about semi-finals is because that's where my experience stops. I now kind of have to, from here on in, I have to kind of almost leave it to you three to talk us through the Wembley experience.
Rich, don't worry, finals are overrated, mate.
Thank you, mate. Thank you, I appreciate that. That is good to know. That's good to know.
Especially winning them.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you can, Steve, because was this your first Wembley experience, Steve?
Yeah, it was.
If you can you just try and describe the feeling building up to it when you know you're going to be on the mic for a big game? So I'm guessing the club get in touch and say, right, you're up.
Yeah, so I was actually in Fort William. I had it was the day before I was hiking Ben Nevis, and that's where I proposed to my now fiance at the top of there. And I had an email from Victoria, who works at the club, and said, right, we've got all of our kind of ducks in a row now. We know what we're doing on Sunday. Are you free to work? I understand you're away, so obviously feel free to say no. And it was one of those moments where I instantly wanted to say yes. I'll cut the holiday short to come back for this. But I can't tell the missus that, and I have to kind of get permission. I thought tactically about it. She won't listen to this podcast, so I can say this. I was basically going, if I wait until Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning after I've proposed and she's got the ring on her finger, she's not going to say no.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I said to Victoria, I was like, put me down. There's a very small chance that I might not be able to do it, but put me down. But I'll have to confirm with you on Wednesday after I've done the deed. And so be it. Yeah, everything went well. Wednesday, we were driving over to the Isle of Skye, and I called Victoria and said, I've got the okay from the now fiance. I'll see you on Sunday at Wembley. But it was a great feeling to be able to do it. As I said, like I didn't get to do the 2017 Cup final. against United, and I didn't get to do the semi-final against Chelsea a few years ago either. So yeah, this was the kind of the one opportunity that I got offered and really wanted to take. So it was great. I was quite nervous, I would say. It's very different when you're announcing in front of 30,000 and you kind of got over those initial nerves when you first get that job to then looking at Wembley. Admittedly, when you're doing a rehearsal, there's no one there, but still seeing the kind of scale of the place. And then even more so when it's starting to get packed out. I'd say my knees were on the shaky side in delivering that little link. And also Leigh was so good and the Leeds fans were so loud that I had such a big job to kind of compete with that as well, and try and rouse the Saints supporters up too. So there was maybe a little bit of professional competition going on there as well.
Naturally, is that how it felt? Did you go firstly and then Steve?
Yeah, so my slot was at 2:16, and then I think Steve's was 2:24. And yeah, I mean there is that. Obviously, there's that. We're there. I mean, we're doing the same job, but we are there to do our job, which is to get our fans going. Is to build them up. Is to get them as loud as you possibly can. And yeah, I mean, both sets of fans were incredible on the day. I think we had the advantage. I think of going. I had the advantage of going first. Because then, of course, as soon as Steve started, all the Leeds fans were, all they wanted to do was boo him.
Who are you?
I may or may not have encouraged that. I got the. I actually found out it was the night that we'd beaten Norwich that there might be the possibility that it could happen. So I was waiting on finding out from the club. So that wait was just awful because obviously we work for the club, so we're not season ticket holders, we're not members. So if we get to this, we've got to this final, if I'm not going there and working, am I going to be able to get a ticket? How's this going to work? And then there was like the family to think of, and then I eventually got the email that just said, look, we want you to come down and do this before the game, and getting that email was just, I was actually in a meeting at work, and I just kind of went back on my chair and just started going, yes, go on, get in. I'm like, you okay, Leigh? I was like, I'm going to Wembley. Yeah. And I just felt like a little kid. It was just, to get that call and know that we get to go. I'm sure you were the same, Steve. It's just, it's the stuff that dreams are made of, really.
We had a similar thing when myself and Rob from Newcastle did the semi-final for the EFL Cup a couple of years ago, whenever. It was last year, wasn't it? But the thing is, again, Rob went first, and the Newcastle end was busier than the Man United end. So he started, and all the Geordies were getting behind him, and he gives it this big sort of gladiatorial call at the end, tune, and they all give it army and tune, and all they give it all that, and then we're not as busy at our end as his. So then I come in on the back of it. So Steve, I can sympathise with what you're saying, because I come into it, all the Newcastle fans then just absolutely, totally booing me while I'm doing my piece, So I had no chance. It was slightly different. This time, I was going to say
the FA Cup final,
because there wasn't as many City fans in as there were United fans, and he went first, and he does, which we can have a chat about, and I chatted about with him last week. But he does you've probably seen him where a couple of the players, he sort of sings the name, and then they Kevin De Bruyne, he sings that, and then they, oh Kevin, and they come in on it. So he did that at Old Trafford, at Wembley. To the highlight, the Man United fans were really entertained by it, and you can imagine what they started singing when he was coming out with that. So straight away, when I came on, it sort of built it for me. So the United fans were warmed up by Alex singing the Kevin De Bruyne thing, and I can't remember who the other one is, but I can relate to you, Steve, following Leigh when I was doing it last year with Rob, and it was really, really funny.
Big gig. I want to ask you both about, Al, you might have something. Once you get that call to go and do it, and you've got your slot, What are you most anxious about?
I don't think. I mean, obviously, we don't need to worry about the music because that's something that's
true.
we've kind of already sent in our 3 songs, which was a bit of a strange one because when we chose the 3 tracks to go in, it was my understanding that those are tracks that were going to be played for the team that won. Those would be the 3 tracks that played afterwards. But as it happens, those 3 tracks played out before the game, which was interesting because Leeds and Southampton had chosen the same song in there. So we chose, obviously, Marching On Together, I Predict a Riot, then also Joy Division, Leeds Are Falling Apart Again, which is obviously, we play that as a piss take at the end of games if fans have been singing it to us. And then when the running order came through, Southampton had put in, the Saints Come Marching On, and then Gala Freed From Desire, and then Joy Division, Love Will Tear Us Apart Again. So I thought that was a good bit of sort of shithousery from Southampton there. I thought that's good. I like that.
They're ready for it.
But as it happens, those songs went out prior to kickoff, so it was a bit like, right, okay then. And then I don't even think they played Joy Division at full time anyway. But then back to the original question, I think it's more a case of, because you've been doing it for so long, you know the teams, you know the pronunciations, you know the kind of speed to go at it. It's just more making sure you nail how the event company want it, how they want it delivering, and making sure you get that tempo right, get that speed right, and just not falling over any of the words that you've written yourself. I think that was certainly it for me. The amount of times I went over what it is that I'd written, was ridiculous. And even then, I think I still missed a part of it out. But yeah, that for me, I think that was it. I don't know about you, Steve.
Yeah, similar. I was I was full of admiration for your Leeds clipboard that you had on the day as well. I got nothing. So there we go.
He's still got it. All Leeds.
So when I got there was a few notes for the fan zone outside, and it just said, the only thing I had for the pitch side segment was the timings and what was happening. So it was just like, you're on at this time, VT, 45 seconds, team sheet read, 15 seconds VT. That's all I had. So I had nothing prepped, nothing written down, nothing rehearsed. And it was a kind of a case of using the time just prior during the rehearsal to think about what I wanted to say and the message to try and convey. But I did get quite a lot of free rein. The only thing that was mentioned to me from my superiors was there's all the flags on the seats, kind of make sure you're encouraging people to use them, getting in full voice. And at St Mary's, when we do a pitch side team sheet read, they go to your timings. So as you're reading, when you finish the name, there's someone up in the PA room pressing the button for the next player to appear on screen. Whereas at Wembley, it's to their timings. So sometimes, and Southampton seem to have a team full of people with double-barreled surnames. So when you've tried to go like, Carl Walker-Peters, Taylor Harwood, Bellis, etc., is making sure that you're getting it in and not sounding like it's rushed. But for me, the thing was not forgetting what I wanted to say and also not messing up any lines, not getting my sort of not becoming tongue-tied or mispronouncing a word or kind of forgetting where I'm going halfway through a link as well, which has happened on a couple of occasions at home. Yeah. So for me, it was just trying to nail that short period of time. And then because Leeds was so loud, I had to kind of say to our supporters as well, when I first said, "Are you ready?" Also, the throat was going a little bit. I felt like I kind of was shouting, and I was worried that my voice would break or crack or I would make a funny noise. And yeah, because the Leeds supporters were so loud, and I was like, "Southampton, are you ready?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, Leeds were louder than that. I need it bigger from you guys. Are you ready?" And then it was trying to kind of get that level of competition going pre-game. Yeah.
I think one of the things, I'm sure everybody's aware of this, but the other thing as well, Rich, which is a great question, because as much as we announce for our respective clubs every week, you're actually you're on the screen here at Wembley as well. So it's not just an announcement where, no one can see you. They're counting you in, and you've got a floor manager and the camera's there, and, you've done your rehearsal in the morning, and that's all good and well. But this time, as the guys have said, you're on at whatever, 16 minutes past and 24 minutes past, and you want to get it right, and you're looking at your opposite number, and as Leigh said, it's professional rivalry. You don't want to be outdone, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you do a good job, and the fact that you're on the screen as well, brings all the sort of I'm not on the screen at Old Trafford, you see, so maybe some of you guys maybe are, so it's a little bit new for me. So that's always my little bit of a concern, that you get it right, you don't sort of fumble your words, you want to get the timings right, because as the lads have said, I had a Q&A in the semi with Jaap Stam, and I could have talked to him all day. He's played in semi-finals, finals, treble winner for United, and they're like that behind the camera, but move on, and you've got to sort of come out to Jaap and then go to it, yeah. So the fact that you're visually on the screen as well, and as both the lads have said, the time is that they are so tight, and I don't know what you two guys think, but it goes so fast, doesn't it? You just no sooner into it and you're out of it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, massively. I think it's a good point. I think the camera there, that in hindsight, that's probably one of the main thing. I think that probably made me a little bit more nervous, because I'm not on screen at Ellen Road, and I think when I first did the first run through, the cameraman, who was brilliant, and Elodie as well, the floor manager, she was fantastic. The cameraman said, when you're talking, look directly down that microphone, down that camera, because that will make it sound louder. He says, that sounds like nonsense, but just trust me. I was like, right, okay, no worries. And that's kind of what I went with. But yeah, it's a little bit different when you've got a camera shoved in your face.
Yeah.
I tend to do a bit more on-camera stuff with Saints, so that kind of element wasn't necessarily such a surprise. But as you were saying with the camera guy, is I kind of was maybe out of nerves moving slightly, but so was he, and he was kind of like, I'm a lot shorter than you, Leigh, as I found out on Friday.
Most people are.
So he's kind of like getting low and looking up. And I kind of felt like I was trying to like portray some sort of rock star. I was kind of like leaning into the lens as he was like down here, like bending over, like getting really close.
Doing a Neil Warnock.
Exactly. So, it was playing up to it a little bit as well. But yeah, it was all part of the fun.
Yeah, I'm constantly being told when we started bringing camera stuff back at the Albion this season, and I'm constantly being told, like, stay still. I'm a shocker for it. I'll walk and move around anywhere, and as soon as you start talking, you're off. You're walking around, you're looking here and there, and I can see like the floor manager going, stay still. Because I watched one of your videos, Leigh, from Wembley, and there's a bit where I think you decided to sort of like turn around and walk around and face the fans, and the guys like running around with the camera to get you on the right side.
Yeah, that was pre-arranged, so that's what they said to me. So for my last sort of piece to camera, to actually turn and face, so the crowd, so the Leeds fans were in the background there, that was the general
nice
sort of instruction. It was just a bit slow keeping up with me, I think. But everything seemed to kind of go at 1,000,000 miles an hour. It was just.
How long do you actually get? How long did you have each?
6.5 minutes.
But that's including in your VTs.
That's including the VT.
The time talking is what the team sheet reads, what, a minute and a half, and then.
Yeah, I think we had a minute 45. I think for the. In fact, I actually got this my clipboard out. So I've still got the team sheet there, which is going absolutely nowhere. But then, literally with the timings, we had the 15-second intro from the Wembley Voice of God, and then our own bit that we had to do, which we had to keep to around about a minute and 30 seconds, and then we had a minute and a half for the team news. So yeah, all told, I think we've probably got about 3 minutes to actually go and do it. And there's a lot that can be done in 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what I'd tell the missus anyway. We would of course prefer it to be longer. But yeah, it was I'll be forever grateful for those few
those 3
minutes
minutes
out on that pitch.
Yeah. Right then, going to stop things for another tune that we're recommending off the back of having it delivered to us here at We Welcome Your Teams by the brilliant ShootMusic. They do all sorts of things for all sorts of other sports. They're involved in interviews you see with your favourite acts when it comes to sporting occasions. Could be Formula One, could be Super League, could be the football. And of course, they've also got sportplaylist.com as well, where you can see the stadium chart. Now, last month, there was a huge download sent to us from Feeder with no fewer than 35 tracks. That includes a new album, Black Orb, which has got a number of double A sides. It comes out on the 19th of July, featuring Unconditional/Scream, but there are so many other tunes on there you should have a look at. Plus the instrumentals are on there as well. This one we're playing you right now is Here Comes the Hurricane. So thanks to ShootMusic for sending us that. Look them up and also get to sportplaylist.com to see your own club's playlist and what songs are big where they are. Meantime, let's get back to the chat with Steve and Leigh.
Leigh, what you were saying earlier regarding like the music tracks, there was one of ours wasn't getting played because I think the DJ already had that as part of his set, and they basically said to me, "Do you want to fill another 60 seconds?" Or sorry, another 2 minutes. I think they were asking me to fill, and I was like, "How are you expecting me to fill just 2 minutes of chat?" After I've already got them, I've already done the team sheet read. I was like, "There's no way I'm going to be able to do that." So I think we had like a little bit of leeway on that kind of last bit before the VT was played. But I mean, I think I'd have crumbled if they'd said, "Right, you've just got to keep going." For another 2 minutes, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I don't think.
In hindsight, you haven't had that thing where you sort of wake up in the middle of the night and say, "Oh, I could have done this. Oh, I could have said that. Oh, I could have gone and started doing all of this."
No, I think I was just relieved. Like once it was done, it was kind of like it was a great experience, potentially once in a lifetime. But once it was over, I think the adrenaline was kicking in so much. I was more just relieved that it was done.
Yeah. Yeah, there is that. I mean, at full time, what happens to you two at full time? Well, I mean, and the same for you, Al, as well. You know, from a winning point of view. But full time comes. One team's won, the other's lost. Do they kick you out the back door as soon as they can, Leigh and Steve? They like embrace you for like a party till midnight.
Well, I was sat with our fans in the northeast corner, sort of lower northeast. And then obviously at the full-time whistle, there was a sort of green room where I had my bag and a couple of other bits and pieces that was kept on my case because I'd come straight from the hotel because I travelled down on the Saturday. So I had to go back and get that. And I had to go into the stadium, out of the stadium, then back in, and then actually go down the steps to pitch side and then walk back in front of all the Southampton fans to get to that room, which was an adventure. I don't mind saying. You know, one of those where you're literally just looking straight forward and kind of.
Do you have your shirt on?
Oh, I was in my matchday gear, obviously. Yeah. Which was quite the. In fact, I've got to tell you this before I go on. When I went down on the Saturday, obviously the cup final had been the day, on that day. So we all travelled down together, and we all wore our sort of match day sort of attire. The traffic at Wembley was ridiculous. So we're sat there, three of us, all wearing Leeds gear, and there was not a Man City fan anywhere. It was a sea of red, and they pulled us up outside this hotel, and they said, "Oh, it's great. There's a sports bar underneath. Just go in there, get a beer, and then we'll all meet up." They pulled up outside the hotel. I was the only member of staff that had been put in this hotel. I got out, and I swear I heard the tyres screech when they left. I looked round, and it was just, the windows were red. And I walked in to go check in, and it was like, the old Western movies, where the cowboy walks in, and then the music stops, and everybody stops and just kind of turns and looks like that. I'm wearing all my green Leeds gear, and I could just feel eyes burning into it. I had to walk through the sea of Manchester United fans. In fairness, they were all great. You know what I mean?
Well, they were happy, weren't they? Yeah, they were happy.
Yeah,
Man
well,
United.
yeah, they were happy. If it had gone the other way, I'd have switched hotels.
Yeah. So, Steve, what happens with you? Do they roll the red carpet out for you?
No, unfortunately not. So, I mean, I was kind of half expecting maybe a little bit of the schmoozy treatment, maybe a seat in a box somewhere or a glass of champagne at the end. But there was a good end to the night. But so they basically said that because my role finished before the game, you're no longer needed. So essentially, you needed a ticket. So they did provide like a ticket, but which was great. I got to be amongst the Saints fans, almost just behind the goal, which was incredible when A, Adam Armstrong scored, and B, when the final whistle went. The party scenes were amazing. But I had to finish my pitchside segment, go back down the tunnel area, out of the stadium, back round, and come in as a punter.
Yeah.
And then make my way in, which was kind of odd. I thought I could have just gone up, I don't know, a set of stairs and across and been there, but I had to actually leave the building and then come back round and scan my ticket in.
Either of you get recognised when you went back into the crowd after having done this thing on the huge screen?
Yeah. I even had one of the security say, "What are you doing?" I was going back in. He went, "Well, you're the pitch side guy." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Why are you coming back in?" I was like, "I've just been told I have to do."
Done now, mate.
So yeah, that was good, and then I did manage to sweet talk my way into the players' after party at the Hilton.
Well done.
Which was quite nice. So
got to be done.
Went there, and there's good atmosphere in there too. But I had to leave relatively early. I couldn't stay into the wee hours. I did have to get home and pick the dog up and have a fairly early-ish evening.
Back to life, yeah.
I'll tell you the contrast in our post-match experiences there, Steve. Well, I ended up watching the game with Danny Howard, Radio 1 dance presenter, big Leeds fan, and he was praying it didn't go to extra time because he had to go and do the big weekender, which was on in Luton. Obviously, he got his wish, so he bolted straight away as soon as the full-time whistle went. So I'd been down and picked up all my gear, and then met the guys at the media entrance to get back to the car, and they parked in like the red car park. So there's the three of us, all wearing our Leeds gear, again, walking up through a sea of Saints fans coming out. So we were getting absolute pelters, from the fans, which fair enough, it was to be expected. Got to the multi-story car park, got to the car and sorted all our things out. And then one of the guys that I was with, who was driving, was the social media manager for the club, a guy called Craig Wilson. So he sort of popped the boot and we're putting all our cases in, and my feet are killing by this point. So I just said to him, do us a favour, we just pop the car door so and sit down. I didn't even get to finish my sentence. He shut the boot, the key was in it. He locked the car with our cases in there, and he couldn't get in, right? So we've just lost the playoff final. We've just had to walk through all the Saints fans. We get to the multi-story car park, and he locked the keys in the car. So he was just like, oh, guys, I don't know what to do. So I ended up having to call the guys from LUTV that had come down in a minibus and said, have you got some space? I had to leave that guy there because I had my bag with my car keys and everything in, walk to the other car park on the other side of Wembley. My battery was on 4%. Nobody was answering to tell me where the car was. I had to go up a few levels and just look for what looked like a Leeds kind of minibus. And then I ended up just sitting on the floor next to this bus that I thought was ours. And then Bryn Law, our commentator, came out. So, yeah, turns out I'm at the right one. And we ended up getting on the bus and leaving at about, I think it was about 7:30, something like that. We ended up getting on the road. But I was like, yeah, perfect end to Saturday. I should have known it was going to happen the day I travelled down on the Saturday. I opened my fridge door and a bottle of chili sauce fell out onto the kitchen. The lid popped off and it went all over my trainers.
It's a sign.
I had to go buy some new trainers on the Saturday.
It's a sign.
I was like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Al, give us what contrast can you give us there about what you were doing post the final whistle at Wembley after the cup final?
Yeah, well, slightly different and bits of overlap because I wanted to be with my family. So, like the guys, I got my ticket, blah, 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 all the rest of it. So, but my family, there's 4 of us, well, me and my wife and 2 adult sort of members of the family. So we wanted to be together and watch it, one thing and another. So I did my piece, and then, but I don't, because I sort of know the routine now. When you walk through, as you say before, guys, you're walking underneath the roadway at Wembley. You know, it's like another world, isn't it? But what I then did is I went to the interior lift, so I got guided to that, and then I went up to the floor where we were and our fans. So I didn't have to go back out to come back in.
That's lying.
Yeah, I got the lift up and then went in where our fans were. So I watched it all, but obviously, I think Rich was doing ours. I think he was. I think it was Rich. Oh no, it was Chris doing the final, wasn't it? Yeah, it's Rich doing the semi. But so they take over all of that. Rich Hurst, once we finished, they do all the Wembley stuff, and then afterwards, I do think it would be a great touch, just for future reference, putting it out there to Events 360, if the announcer from the winning team announced his team. I think that'd be brilliant, for the trophy lift. But I've been privileged enough to do an announcement for a team doing the trophy lift, obviously not United, but I do think they should bring that in because we're there anyway, aren't we?
Exactly.
So it'd be nothing to sort of say, right, 5 minutes, get your way back round to the West Gate, and you'll be brought in to do the team lift. Because by the time they set up the podium and one thing and another, you'd have plenty of time to get there. So maybe I'll mention it to the guys.
Mention it to the guys, but don't mention it to Chris Temple because he'll probably be, he'll be the one ending up with a 2-minute slot on Cup final day, and it'll be the rest of us all having everything else to do. As the official Wembley announcer, I suppose he'd claim it as his gig from kickoff onwards.
Yeah, there is that as well. But knowing Chris as we do, I'm sure he wouldn't even mind.
No, I know. Yeah, we'll put it forward to him in the WhatsApp group. Yeah. He won't mind. It's fine. Well, look, I know it's different experiences for everyone, but obviously I'm insanely jealous of all of you, even you, Leigh, to be honest, because you still went and you still got to do it. But where does it rank in your experiences so far, Steve?
Professionally, it is right up there. Saints has been a big part of my life for the last 7 years. So in terms of what I do there, it's been a massive highlight. I think really it's a privilege to get to do the job anyway. I work in radio. Aside from that, it's kind of my bread and butter is a bit of broadcasting and some presenting and some journalism elsewhere. And I always kind of say that I don't have a real job. I'm not out there saving lives, or if me saying something over a microphone is not having any real impact on this world, it's not making the world a better place, and so I just feel in an extremely privileged position to be able to call that a job and be able to kind of have that platform to provide entertainment and to be allowed the privilege to be able to do it and call it work. So I would say getting to go to Wembley is a highlight. It's certainly quite a coming of age day in terms of developing the bottle and the kind of cojones, as Troy Deeney would probably say, to go and do it. But I think just getting to be a presenter or an announcer for a football club and getting paid to watch football on a weekly basis is just an amazing job in itself. So really kind of it's been 7 years of highlights aside from relegation. But that's my 2 pence on it.
I love it. Leigh, obviously it was still a huge experience for you despite the result.
Oh yeah, huge. And I think Steve's hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. I mean, what we do, and we're in such a privileged position to be able, as fans first and foremost, to be able to go there and do what we do on a regular basis and get the kind of access that we do. And it still blows my mind to this day that, you know, you'll walk into a ground and one of the players will come and say hello to, you know, to us, and, you know, the fact that they know who we are, it's just a bit kind of strange. But yeah, I think getting to go out and do that at Wembley it's definitely up there as an absolute highlight of mine. Just to be asked, you know, to go and do it it's certainly a privilege. It'll be nice to go and do it and pick up the trophy next time. Well, in fact, no, go up as champions. I think I probably prefer that.
Yeah.
I don't think my heart could take another 90 minutes, because it is a stressful game to watch. A really stressful game to watch.
You can go straight up next season. We'll do the West Brom will do the playoff route, I think. That's the ideal dream.
Be my guest.
Hang on, no worries. Al, it's different for you because you seem to be at Wembley every blooming week. So,
well, you know, listen, I was a bit gutted actually, because they wanted me to do the announcing for the women's final, as in for the United team, because I think we've said it before, but obviously as and when I'm available, I do the women's games at Leigh, which is about 35 minutes from Old Trafford. But I was absolutely gutted because the sort of the women's side of the organisation and that side of it sort of said to me, you know, if we get to Wembley, are you able to do it? And I said, well, when is it and everything else? And I thought it would be after their last game at Old Trafford, because United were playing Chelsea women at Old Trafford is the last game. And I thought, it'll be after that. Oh, no, we play it before that. I said, right, okay, so it's before the last game. Yeah, anyway, without going into all the fixture congestion and the playoff finals. So, unfortunately, we were playing Arsenal at Old Trafford on the day of the women's final. So I missed Wembley that day. And as in like last year, I was there when we lost, and this year I wasn't there. So a bit like you guys, I experienced both sides. So I never got to see the women win it. So no, it was brilliant. Honestly, it was, because no one, like I said at the beginning, it's about these two guys, not me, but it was just brilliant to win a cup final. Doesn't matter. It's just brilliant. It still is fantastic.
Well,
no matter what anybody says.
You're right. I'm gonna finish the podcast on a great note, because technically now we're at end of season, so we can all start thinking about taking a bit of holiday before the football kicks back in, if that's possible. Alan, I know you've had about 2 weeks worth of on the pitch games to work on anyway. So when the season actually finishes for anyone, has anyone booked holiday in to make sure they work it around the season?
I have booked a holiday in, so I'm off to Italy, but it's the 2nd to the 12th of August. So I think I might be back for that first weekend of the Premier League season, if that's the 16th. Is that right? Am I got my dates right?
I know you're asking the wrong person here.
I think
yeah, for the Premier League, it's the 17th, the Saturday. So obviously the Friday to the Monday. And then we've got the small matter of the Community Shield or whatever the week before with City and United. So
he's off again.
Well,
let's drop that one in there.
Yeah, I'll have to put your name forward, Rich.
He's got his own dressing room there now.
He's got a flat in Wembley, surely. You must have a flat in Wembley by now, Al. I would. Blooming it. Leigh, you getting away from it all for a bit?
I've not got anything booked at the moment. Obviously the work away from Leeds. My show is just it's really busy now. Obviously, just getting into the start of summer, so we've got a lot of summer tour things that are coming up, a lot of local events, and so that's really quite busy. And we're a small team, and we all pitch in and sort of do our bit. I've got a couple of weekends away here and there that are booked in, but I could certainly do with a week or two by a pool somewhere. We'll see.
I haven't chosen some dates yet, but I know that when I do choose a date and go around to book it, that'll be that West Brom will announce their home pre-season friendlies probably on those dates. That's normally what happens. So it's get away now and be back for the start of July. Otherwise, that's it.
Yeah, well, Steve, I'm sure you know this, being back in the Premier League. Our fellow colleagues here may not be aware of this, but the Premier League fixtures are out on the 18th of June, mate.
I'll keep abreast of that for sure. And I'm sure, as we all know as well, when it comes to taking holidays, it's also keeping the other person in your life happy, or your family, etc. Because trying to tell the other half that we have this window to be able to take holiday in for the next 9 months doesn't always go down particularly well.
No. And obviously, even those weekends away are subject to change as well, we know, because when you think you were going to, at home or away on a Saturday, 12 or 3 o'clock, goodness knows where that's going to end up, especially for us in the Championship League. The good thing is, for when we find out, we know all of our TV fixtures right up until January.
Exactly.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Oh. We can plan.
We can actually plan. It's a strange feeling. It really is. Gents, I'll let you all go, but thank you very much for being with us today. It's been ace.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Cheers, guys, and congrats again, Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you. Give us a rating.
Cheers, guys. Have a great season.
So thank you once again to Steve, Leigh, and Alan, and of course to you for listening with us. And thanks to the team at ShootMusic, who are always ready to send Matchday DJs new songs for inclusion on their next Matchday playlist. If that is you, go and look them up. Sport Playlist is the place to see the stadium chart, remember, seeing all the songs. And of course, we're bringing you the regular countdowns of the Sport Playlist top 5 as well. That stadium chart is out every week on a Friday. In the meantime, till we get our next stadium announcer on to come on and tell all, keep an eye on the @AnnouncersPod Twitter account and the We Welcome Your Teams Pod Instagram account. That's where we'll bring you all sorts of stuff and other clips of other announcers doing their thing or not doing their thing whilst we're taking some summer holidays. See you next time.